don't ban it away.
Don't ban it away, or literally play it and then the other team cannot play it again, because like the Nautilus coming through here, I believe this is like the first time we've seen it over the past 2 days as well. So finally we're actually getting the Naughty Boy onto the Rift. But not only that, the Na as well as the Ezreal. Na was banned obviously for the entire of the last series. Today did come through I think once or twice yesterday, but now is finally getting back on the Gorge again. Can kind of be sometimes lackluster. I believe there was one series where it actually played a lot better than the other, but pairing it with the Ornn here could kind of try and emulate what that Rumble and Ornn combo has to begin with as well, right? Like trying to chuck them towards Ornn, chuck them into the ultimate as well, trying to just get that double lockdown.
Right, to see what the other bans are. Nocturne not being picked throughout the first phase. The same with Rise as well. So no surprise that these two bans are going to be going through. We're probably going to be expecting to see them in the second game. Of course, just a reminder to everyone, this is Fearless Draft. So the picks that do come through in this draft are not going to be able to be picked for the rest of the series. So as I mentioned, you're probably going to be expecting to see like Rise next game, Nocturne next game, but unfortunately not for this game. So it's going to be Ultimate Baguette that's going to have the second pick priority here in terms of the rotation after the bans. Gnar can still be flexed between one of the solo lanes and also the jungle. Don't think it's really a final wax pick, to be honest with you. There's the Lilia ban that I was talking about as well. I think it's going to be very highly prioritized in this series. So two really good jungle bans, in my opinion, from International Jobcenter. You know the Riven's going to go in jungle. For Snorlax, you take two of the strongest junglers away from Final Wax. It pinches his paw ever so slightly to try and make sure he can't carry as much.
Yes, exactly. And then over to the side of obviously Ultimate Baguette, they do get rid of those two big AP picks. And Viego, I feel like, was one of the picks that Ultimate Baguette played yesterday as well, right? I mean, I think it was one of those matches where it was like, hey, how are they going to get onto that back line, right? And then Viego just kind of was like, hold my beer. Like, I'm going to be in the back line. We got some really good kind of like T1 dives into the turrets as well. So potentially seeing that being emulated here for the side of Ultimate Baguette once more. So Final Wax getting that pick, but they are going to get some AP damage come through from the Mordekaiser and then locking it down with the Camille as well. So very sort of like frontline orientated draft here from the International Jobcenter.
This is a typical Chinese draft, you could say, on the International Jobcenter. Just 4 frontline champions and a Corki just behind, just being being the backline damage. You don't really expect to see the likes of Viego and sometimes Riven in draft. Sometimes maybe after a few other picks come through in Fearless Draft, some of the other junglers get prioritized instead. But I think with just the style of junglers that we have in this grand final with Snorlax and with Final Wax, they want to be the main carries for their team. They want to play these carries in the jungle to make a big difference when it comes to these early skirmishes and when it comes to these team fights. Really like the Mordekaiser pick though. Again, it's really good with the ultimate to try and isolate and try and pick out one of the champions. It also offers a little bit of AP damage as well for the side of International Jobcenter. Warwick is the source of AP damage for Ultimate Baguette. Isn't a crazy amount of AP, but you have a little bit of AP coming through from the Ezreal as well, so it should be enough. But this Nautilus, if he starts building a lot of armor, he's going to be pretty unkillable against the likes of the Ezreal and Viego and even Gnar later on.
Yeah, I mean, we're hopefully going to see him come into play and actually be worth the salt, right? Because, I mean, we've seen some of these picks that have been banned out for the majority of the battles and the showdown. And when they do come through onto the Rift, they don't quite give the results that we're really hoping for. So really, we hope to see that the Nautilus is going to show why this pick was banned throughout the majority of yesterday and today. So hopefully we can get that come through. Obviously, like you said, the AP damage can be coming through from Nautilus, but if he does build full tank, it's going to be hard to shred down. It's going to be great to obviously do the single target CC lock onto the likes of the Ezreal as well. Just make sure that he doesn't get away too easy from the rest of International Jobcenter, but all in mid.
What is going on? There's a level 1 fight. They actually predicted that Ultimate Baguette were going to invade at level 1, and they all sit in the same bush. What an incredible start to this game from International Jobcenter. Final Wax, unfortunately, is going to be the one that's going to go down, and that's going to stop his early jungle clear, and it's going to put him a little bit behind, and the kill goes in favor of Lebato Carlos as well. So that's going to give, the Camille a little bit of easier time when it comes into the bot lane.
I mean, I didn't realize we was casting an all ARAM match, right? Like everyone's going down, everyone's just going down mid. Let's see what happens for the best at level 1. But hey, there we go. We're already starting off this match in a little bit of a different kind of pace of what we've been seeing over the past 2 days and even the past 2 weeks as well with the battles. But not looking pretty low here. Patris having a little bit of a rough time against Randimito in the top side of the map. So already Na is being put under the restraints that we thought he would be until he gets Mega Na, right? At least.
Yeah, exactly that. When he gets Mega Na, he's normally a lot safer because he's much more tankier. But when he has this range versus melee matchup, he just needs to make sure that he keeps his distance to this Mordekaiser. As soon as Mordekaiser uses his abilities, just try and jump away and try and make sure that you don't get hit by any of these abilities, especially with the shield as well. You're seeing that Random's having a bit of an easy time here against this Na early on, trying to trade, trying to get these extra abilities off when he can, especially if Random can isolate Nara as well, and he might even be trying to look for a kill here as well. He's going to try and maybe look for that first ability, but no, it doesn't come on through. Patris has to use his barrier. He might be actually going down here because Random also has Ignite. He's very, very low. If Random uses his third ability, maybe catch them out, he can look for Ignite, but no, he's going to back off for now, take away the Skarner, look to push this next wave, and then go on through. But look, both the junglers are here. Final Axe is level 5 though, to Snorlax is level 4. So it does mean that, there you go, Ultimate Baguette are going to get the advantage. They get both Skull Crabs in bot lane and in top lane as well. And that's going to give Final Axe a big lead.
A big lead, but also obviously the intel that we saw the International Jobcenter really was like suffering from there, the lack of, because I feel like if Random actually had the intel there, he would have definitely committed that dive. We didn't know where Viego was. Final Wax was obviously coming from base at that point, and then obviously Hestes was rotating up to obviously give and over to Final Wax with Snorlax there. Not like he needed it, like we said, he had the level advantage as well in terms of obviously having his ultimate available also. So just, again, Ultimate Baguette playing a very strong early game. Not quite in terms of the gold resources just yet, but that's thanks to, obviously, that first blood helping International Jobcenter get that lead so far.
Yeah, exactly that. You're seeing Patris at the moment using his ultimate just to try and clear the wave. Completely fine to use your ultimate early game as a Gnar because you can only use your ultimate when you're in Mega Gnar anyway, and it doesn't have that long of a cooldown. So by the time you get Mega Gnar again, it's going to be able to, come back up anyway once this Mega Gnar comes back up for the Gnar. So just using it for wave clear, trying to get this priority early on. But so far, very, very slow game, as we expect in the grand finals, Blam. Both these players and both these teams respect each other so highly. These, again, are some of the best players in EMEA going head to head. So you know that they want to try and make sure that they don't take any risks and don't try and look for any sort of overextends. But actually Random is going to use the ultimate here onto Gnar. Gnarly has the Mega Gnar though, needs to try and escape, does use the flash in time and is able to escape with that Mega Gnar coming through as well. Nice ultimate there from Random to try and burst back down Patris, but Mega Gnar came up just in time.
Yeah, I think overall, obviously, even though it's not been a killer to the top side of the map just yet, we do see a rotation from Snorlax once more coming through. Patris doesn't have the Mega Gnar. He does get taken down, just as I was about to say. Not many kills going up to the top side of the map, but in terms of priority, we do see it coming from Random as well. He's definitely playing the lane to his strengths.
Yeah, really well played from Random. Just waiting for the right time to use his third ability to bring in the Mini Gnar. Yep. As soon as he goes back to Mini Gnar, he's just so squishy and there's nothing really you can do. So it's not like staying in that top side, getting that trade up in the top side and getting the advantage that Random really wants in this lane is really big. You can see the gold lead at the moment as well, currently 600 gold ahead. Even the same in bot side, even though nothing has happened in this bot lane, Carlos has a 600 gold lead against this Warwick. So both solo laners at the moment for International Jobcenter coming out on top in this early game.
Yeah, side lane's definitely paying off the gold lead, as well as obviously just trying to get priorities of these minion waves. We do have the neutral objectives come up as well, which is again where these priorities of the minion waves would come through and help with in terms of trying to get these objectives. True Shot Barrage being used pretty early there, just to maybe try and get some intel onto the side of International Jobcenter. But for now, definitely all circulating around this Enchanted Ensemble because it is a highly sought for objective overall.
You see both teams want to prioritize this Rift Herald. Both teams want to go for this Rift Herald. The Ornahorn actually comes on through, hits the knock-up as well, and Riven is completely one-shot. Great chain CC there by the side of Ultimate Baguette. The Ornahorn proving to be absolutely huge in this fight. Heste uses the flash as well, lands the knock-up straight afterwards as well. 2-for-0 trade for Ultimate Baguette, and that's what they needed to come back into this game. They were falling a little bit behind in tempo, but one team fight can make a big difference, and that's what they were able to do. They get the Rift Herald, and now they can look to use that in one of the lanes to get some early gold under their belts.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need to try and use that Rift Herald, obviously, to try and change the tides of the pressure into these lanes, because right now, obviously, top side of the map is still going over to Random for now. Hestes is obviously being called up to the top side as well to try and help Patris, because look at that turret. Like, that's lost a lot of turret platings. That's a lot of gold going over to the side of International Jobcenter, which right now, Ultimate Baguette is managing to try and kind of just mitigate and get some collateral damage control over to their favors within the gold lead. But the Mountain Drake is still up. Will we see Snorlax go for it now? Does the bot side of the map taking the River Scuttle here? Probably not, because like we were saying yesterday, it's a little bit underwhelming when you get these dragons.
Yeah, both teams are not going to prioritize the dragon at all, as expected. You know, this is something that happens a lot in EMEA. You know, no one really respects the dragons, and no one really sees the benefit of getting 3% bonuses and 2% bonuses in terms of damage. They don't really want to prioritize towards the Dragon Soul, because by the time the Dragon Soul comes up, the game might be completely lost. But Final Wax here, trying to 1v1 Random. Random does use his ultimate to try and help a little bit with the damage, but it's not going to be enough. Killing spree for Final Wax already on this Viego. And as you mentioned, yesterday, this is a pick that Final Wax picked up as well, and he was the main carry for his team. We're looking at the GOAT right now in EMEA in the jungle role, and he's proven in this game that even if he picks these carry champions like Viego, he can still be a big difference for a team.
Oh, the Exec Ultimatum onto Ezreal's going to be enough to take him away, but the True Shot Barrage is going to do taking a lot of damage onto Xiao. But at the same time, Ultimate Baguette used that Enchantal Ensemble into the top side of the map, so Random is going to have a little bit more of a harder time now trying to keep that pressure onto the side of Patris on Ultimate Baguette. So I feel like this is a good focus for Ultimate Baguette. They know where to focus their best players, and right now it's looking like Random was looking like their strongest suit into this one, especially going into the 8-minute mark. Obviously, stunting his growth is going to be their first point of call.
Yeah, we saw in the early game that Random had a great time against the Gnar, winning trades, getting Snorlax to come up as well to help with them trades. But now, as you mentioned, with Gnar getting that first tower with Final Wax as well, meant that he's actually even in gold now for the Mordekaiser. The big lead at the moment, though, is in that jungle. 2,000 gold lead for Final Wax. You just watch Final Wax, you watch his positioning, you watch his jungle pathing. Every single time that his jungle camps are available, he's there and ready and waiting for them. This is a player that just efficiently clears through his jungle as much as possible. He knows where to be on the map at the right time. He ganks at the right moments as well when his jungle camps are not up and available. You can see he has no jungle camps up at the moment. I mean, it's pretty much the same with both junglers, just trying to power farm and get as much gold as possible.
As much gold as possible, but it looks like Final Wax is definitely obviously stars ahead in terms of the gold lead, right? It's like, what, 8.1k to the 5.8k onto the side of Snorlax here. Obviously, trying to catch out Xiao here is going to be the point of call into this mid lane, trying to get rid of that damage into this team fight. Hestes does use the Ornn ultimate. It doesn't connect onto the Corki just for Yao, but they may catch out the Snorlax, or at least kind of display, hey, we got intel on you. Kind of stay away, or we will go for the kill. We will pull the trigger.
Yeah, Snorlax just being a little bit hesitant now. This is kind of a different play style to what he was playing yesterday, as it seems to be a pick onto Random in the top side. Oh my god, great flash there in the end by the Warwick, actually flashing away from Random's first ability. Unfortunately, he still goes down to Random. They try to shut down Random. They try to get him behind even more in this game, but Random perfectly used the ultimate there on the weaker target, which is the Warwick. Getting that kill, getting the extra stats thanks to that Mordekaiser ultimate means that he's going to be able to survive this lane. So really well played there from Random, being able to stop that gank from coming on through and even getting an advantage from himself.
Yeah, exactly. And also getting that advantage into the lane once more, taking that T1 is definitely going to help them try and restore that balance that they once had in the early game. They definitely were struggling once they took that T1 right, but then we had obviously a little bit more of an orientated team fight up to the top side of the map, which really helped that one. But right now, between International Jobcenter and Ultimate Baguette, it's pretty close, other than obviously in terms of the gold. The gold is about 2k ahead for Ultimate Baguette, but how they're handling these team fights and how they're approaching each other is definitely playing with respect, like you said earlier, Stu.
Yeah, exactly that. Both teams know what's at stake. This is the grand final here of the Rift Legends Showdown. They know they've played against each other so many times. They've probably played with each other so many times as well. And that's exactly what they try and look for, you know, when it comes to these games, is who knows their opponent better, and who knows when to take risks, and who knows when to play passive and stay and just farm up and wait to scale as well. There are so many questions that come into this grand final, because there's so many players that, again, have so much respect for each other that it comes down to a case of who has the better hands sometimes. You know, the macro comes in really huge, but also who has the better hands when it comes to the team fights, when it comes to his trade. It looks like Nah was able to get a kill onto Random. They're really focusing Random this game. You know, already ganking him when he was in the top lane. Now he's in the bot lane. He's still getting focused. Looks like Heste was able to catch him off there as well. But they are rotating back here into the bot side. Quant is going to try and use the Nautilus ultimate to use that chain crowd control. But the Nari is going to jump away to safety, but it does mean that Heste is going to be the sacrifice, but he'll take that as a support. Sometimes other champions and other players' lives matter more than yours.
Yeah, they've got to shine, especially carries as well, right? Like, if you drop a support life, that's not too bad. I mean, if you save your jungler like that, I mean, Viego coming through there.
He's still going in bot lane.
Onto Snorlax. Yeah, he's going to go onto the Nautilus as well. Quant look like he's going down. Double kill once more for Final Wax. He is having the final laugh going into this 12-minute mark of this game right now. International Jobcenter looking a little bit worse for wear, especially the fact, like you were saying earlier, Stu, they are focusing Random because of obviously yesterday his macro performance was pretty much on point.
Yeah, at the moment, they don't know how to take down Final Wax. They don't know how to break him down at the moment. Now they're just going to chain CC Random and pick up another kill here as well. Final Wax is completely running over this game right now. 5-1 on this Viego. Already has 2 items. 3,000 gold lead right now in the jungle. Snorlax just doesn't know what's hit him this game. And even Random as well. Random is a player that had such big highlights yesterday, and as you mentioned, had such big plays throughout the whole series. But in this game, he's definitely very, you know, he's definitely struggling.
Definitely struggling. I mean, the Mordekaiser, obviously, yes, he can kind of have a great lead if you're kind of ahead. Obviously, having that lockdown with the ultimate as well really helps. But I feel like when you're playing the Mordekaiser from behind and you're not having the greatest of team fights, because Ultimate Baguette are literally just kind of dismantling you, or at least taking you down before you even get that team fight potential, it kind of means that, like, Random just hasn't had the kind of, like, go start that he needs, right?
Can't get anything going at the moment, I feel like, in this game. Like, this is really surprising to me, to be honest. I thought this game would be a lot closer than what it is at the moment, but
yep.
Final Wax is the one that's getting picked, and there you go, the Warwick ultimate, the pick potential again. Ornhorn is going to come down, not going to be hitting anyone, actually just completely misses for the moment. Random not going to be using his ultimate just yet. It's going to try and isolate someone in these fights, but Snorlax is trying to jump in, trying to do enough damage, but isn't able to. Final Wax gets the reset with the Riven, and here he goes. He's going to keep jumping in time and time again. Now going to jump in onto Random. Not going to be extending too far though, because they know that Baron is up. They know that they want to try and turn towards this Baron, as it's such a big objective for them to try and win out this game number 1.
Oh, huge. And I mean, it's not going to be contested as well, right? The fact that Snorlax is down, he doesn't have the smite. It's going to be pretty much a free Baron Nashor there, as they do proclaim it for themselves on the side of Ultimate Baguette. But right now, you can probably see a lot of pressure being put into the mid lane here. That is the last tier 1 standing for the side of International Jobcenter. It will be stopping Shio, kind of like hugging this turret, as we've seen for the majority of this game. It's not actually had the greatest kind of pop-off yet. I mean, he's on 0 deaths, but he's on also 0 kills. So Corki not quite having the finesse he needs in this game number 1.
This is your typical ADC gameplay sometimes. You know, sometimes with the Corki, it's very difficult because he doesn't have the longest attack range. So he actually needs to stand pretty close to be able to auto attack and deal damage. The problem at the moment is you're going to be standing close against a Gnar, a Viego, a Warwick, even an Ornn as well. You know, these are champions that you do not want to stand close to. So you're just sitting back. You're trying to get, you know, little advantages that you can. It looks like there's a fight happening in the bot side. Gnar is going to be able to get the solo kill onto Mordekaiser in the bot lane. Unfortunately, we missed that one. But now you can see that now that the Baron Nashor has been taken, they're pushing all three lanes. The Gnar's in the bot lane, the Warwick's in the top side, and now they're just trying to take as many inhibitors as possible. Snorlax is in the enemy jungle. He doesn't want to deal with defending. He doesn't know what defending means. He's just trying to take as much gold away as possible, but now he realizes that he needs to go back to his base. But oh no, the Corki goes down. He's now not 0-0-0 anymore. He's 0-1-0 as a death comes on through. They take that mid lane inhibitor. Again, really nice snap play. Again, killing spree for the Gnar in the bottom side. Patras was a player that was falling behind in the early game. Random was winning that 1 versus 1, but Final Wax, the EMEA go in the jungle, makes the difference, and he wins himself and the team game number 1 here for Ultimate Baguette.
Yeah, I mean, especially on the carry jungle, like we've saw many times on the Viego, Final Wax definitely played that one very, very well, especially into the early game, obviously getting the first blood going over to the side of International Jobcenter. Obviously, Carlos was able to get that one, but then after that point, it seems like just a little bit of punishment for the side of International Jobcenter. The fact that Final Wax was just so proactive on this Viego, obviously in terms of resources, getting the kills up, but then also putting a lot of focus onto Random up into the top side of the map as well. Like that was like kind of one of the big downfalls here for International Jobcenter.
Yeah, we saw how difficult it was in the end for Random to really make a difference in these fights. You know, Mordekaiser is a champion that's really good at isolating champions in a 1 versus 1. You know, he was able to a little bit when it comes to trying to lock down the Warwick. He was able to win a couple of 1v1s. Even in the early game, he got a bit of an advantage with Snorlax as well. Tower diving this Gnar in the early game. But as I mentioned, I mean, the real MVP of this game, I mean, it says Patras. I'm pretty sure Final Wax should get the MVP of this game because he was everywhere on the map. He was doing so much work for his team. He was doing damage. He was peeling for his team. He was getting resets time and time again with his ultimate. And he really